on my series All Things Gaming. And thank you all so much for being here and hopefully for getting here because I would love to talk about an RPG game that I'm currently playing that I just recently discovered, which is, in my view, really, really impressive and not just innovative, but also very able, very successful in combining a lot of different elements of that innovativity into a super fun game that all fans of RPG games, of role playing games, should try out, especially if you're into unusual, atypical RPGs that are kind of novel in their approach, that are not kind of something that you've already played in one shape or another, but are truly and literally something completely new. What is Backpack Hero, the game that I want to discuss today? Well, it's an indie game created by Jaspel, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, a solo developer who created it over a period of, I'm not mistaken, couple of years. And it's basically a inventory management slash role playing game which combines these two into a really unusual setup, especially because on top of all of it, it adds a layer of simulation where you basically build up and run a city. Someone just got into the broadcast. Thanks a lot for being here. Hopefully you'll find this interesting and something that is worth listening and watching. I'm talking about a game, a role-playing game called Backpack Hero. So thanks a lot for being here. In the game, you basically take on the player of, or a player character of a mouse that has a huge backpack that is able to grow as the same mouse goes on a quest to find her daughter, her mother actually, it's a daughter who is lost in the mazes below that world, which is kind of a classical fantasy world. And in those mazes are loads of dangers, loads of potential problems and issues that the same character will find. But the way to overcome those is to build up her inventory. And this is where the things start to get interesting really quickly, really on a massive scale, at least in my view, especially for the game in the making. Hi, Brian. Thanks a lot for those comments. Glad to have you around. We're talking about an RPG game that is called Backpack Hero. Not sure if that's going to be interesting based on the topics that you're kind of thinking about, but hopefully you will find it interesting. So stay tuned if this makes sense to you. Now, when we talk about Backpack Hero, this ability to kind of manipulate the same inventory in the RPG title that I'm talking about, which is again Backpack Hero, you basically start each run through your maze or through the dungeons without any inventory that you have previously. Each run is kind of defined with this singular or 2 or 3 items that you have from the start. And then when you level up, each time you level up, it is basically expanding your inventory, and that's allowing you to find other things and use those things. However, where the game really shines is its ability to create combos. These combos are really good because they offer many different options where you have to pick and choose and kind of discard elements for other elements that can be useful. A lot of you just got into the broadcast. Thanks a lot for being here. I'm talking about a really cool indie game, indie RPG game called Backpack Hero, and why you should try it out if you're into role-playing games and indie games in particular. So these combos that you create as you progress through the dungeon are really interesting because in every step you kind of get this moment where you're discarding stuff that could be useful and betting on other stuff that is useful but could be even better if you find additional elements from the same category. It might sound complicated, and it is. There are so many combos, there are so many interchangeable elements that you can kind of use and try to use. There are also influences that elements and items provide, not just on a particular item, but on the whole range of either items or the grid system, so either in a line or a column, where these can then shine through. Hi to you, XD4MO. XDM4MO, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Thanks a lot for being here. Thanks a lot for being in this broadcast. Hopefully, you'll find it interesting. I'm talking about a role playing game called Backpack Hero that is, in my view, very good, and I'm explaining why I think the same applies. So, you go through the dungeon, you level up, you expand your inventory physically, it has more grid elements to it, and get more stuff that you kind of need to synergize with other stuff. And the same process is how you progress through the dungeon. That is the part of the game related to the runs or the dungeon crawling process. At the same time, there is another part of the game, which is kind of the meta game, where you build up your town on top of the same world. Hey everybody, a lot of you just joined in the broadcast. Thanks for being here, thanks for listening. The topic is a really cool indie game I recently found and I'm presently playing called Backpack Hero, and I'm talking why it's interesting. XD4MO says, wow, that's interesting. Thanks a lot. Hopefully the rest of the broadcast will be interesting as well. If you like RPG games, please, XD4MO, please let me know which games are those and what did you play in terms of RPGs that you recently found really cool. So yeah, on top of the dungeons are your inhabitants, your friends, your kind of family who live there, and then through the runs you create resources like food and tools that you invest in the town above. Hey man, how are you? Says Ya Isikuldensi. I'm not sure I can pronounce it. I'm pretty sure actually I can pronounce it. Thanks for being here. Thanks a lot for your comment. I'm doing great. Hopefully you're doing great as well. We're talking about a game called Backpack Hero, an RPG indie title that I recently found and I really like. So please do chime in if you tried it, or let me know what kind of RPG games, role-playing games you love. But thanks for being here nonetheless. And of course, thanks for everyone else for being here. So as you progress, you build up your city. This provides a passive influence on the ability of your character to provide runs. And as you progress, you'll get additional characters that you can use as well. All of them have their perks, passive abilities, and so forth. So Backpack Hero, a really, really good game. Indie gem, literally, in my view. I'm pretty sure it's going to be something that all of you who enjoy role-playing games will enjoy as well. And you can find it on Steam, you can find it, I'm pretty sure, on itch.io, you can find it on Epic Games Store, and it's well worth your time. It's a really well-designed game. It's a really smartly developed game. Yeah, I think it's good too. I'm glad to hear it. Did you try it out recently? Have you played it for a long time or a short time? Let me know as well. I think it's excellent. I've been playing it for about 5 or 6 days, and it really hooked me up. Thanks everyone else for being here, for getting into the broadcast. I just see that the number of you got up. Thanks. We're talking about a role-playing game, an indie role-playing game called Backpack Hero, and why I think it's really good and you too should check it out. So in this mix of kind of metagame and those runs that are kind of roguelike basically, because you have to replay them over and over. Hey, I started playing it like 4 days ago. Guess awesome. That's just like me. Hopefully you're enjoying it. You said you like it and you think it's good, so that's great to hear. And it has a really good score on Steam. If you could check it out, it has loads of reviews, loads of really good reviews. It's above 90% positive rating, and for good reason. But ultimately, if you're developing games, not just playing them, this is a perfect example how a well thought out, innovative approach to a really saturated and kind of difficult domain that is indie RPGs, can create a game that is fresh, innovative, and also it looks really good because it's a pixel art game. At first it looked really dark to me. All of the colors seem very saturated towards darker, more like greenish and brown colors like my shirt. But once I started playing it, there's really a lot of detail there. Enemies in particular are well designed, and the developers didn't put too much focus on world building and the dungeons themselves, which is a smart decision. They're generic. It's just basically dark stones covered with moss and stuff like that. But it doesn't have to be good. Enemies need to look great. Items need to look great. And they are looking great. XD4MO asks, is it free? No, it's being sold on Steam and on the Epic Games Store, but it was given out for free on Epic Games Store about maybe 3 or 4 months ago. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be on Epic Games Store for free at some point in the future as well. But now you can find it on both Steam and Epic Games Store. And I think you can find it on Itch.io. And I'm pretty sure there is some kind of a demo or initial kind of experience that you can play for free. So you can check it out and try it without having to pay anything. Finally, like I said, this is a really, really good game design that was presented in a really thought out, smart way. Dungeons have too much bugs. I didn't notice it, to be honest. I haven't played as much. Maybe I spent around 7 hours in it, but so far I didn't notice it. But it can be very difficult. So maybe some of those bugs that you saw, I just thought of it as basically difficulty. But yeah, in that case, it should be ironed out because the game has been around for some time and it would suck if it had bugs. So hopefully those bugs are getting resolved pretty soon. That's it for this broadcast. Thank you so much for being here. This is the first broadcast on my All Things Gaming YouTube Vertical Live series that had so much interactions. Thanks to all of you in the comment section. I've really had a great time talking to you all. And hopefully, if you're a first-time viewer, please subscribe to my channel. Check out my other videos. Check out my other content. If you're into video games, technology, and stuff like that, you'll probably like it. Until my next broadcast, have a great day, everyone. Thank you for being here, especially all of you from the comment section. Thank you so much for leaving your thoughts and spending the time here. Boy, hopefully you'll spend that time in the next few minutes enjoying the content I create. Thanks once more, and bye-bye.